Hello and welcome to Common Ground, an inside look at Suffolk County. I'm your host, Seth McCoy. On the first half, we have Rich Cuthey from the Chelsea Chamber of Commerce. The Chelsea Chamber is the oldest and largest business-oriented group in Chelsea. They both serve as an advocate and partner to the varying companies that call the city home. And on the second half of the show, we will introduce you to Christopher Byner, the interim Executive Director of Boston Centers for Youth and Families. At BCYF, they offer a wide range of affordable programs, including preschool, school-aged and adult education, family literacy, youth employment, and violence prevention and intervention. They operate 35 facilities located throughout the city of Boston. Stay tuned. And joining me now is Chris Byner, Interim Executive Director of Boston Centers for Youth and Families. Chris, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
We were just talking off air about I used to volunteer at the Tobin back when I was in college, which of course was only like 5 years ago. Wink, wink. But my experience at the Tobin was awesome. It was a great experience. So if just for a little plug for people at home, if they're in college and need some credits, they should volunteer at BCYF.
That's right. We're looking forward to having more volunteers.
Absolutely. So for those folks at home who might not know what BCYF is, what is BCYF?
So Boston Centers for Youth and Families is the largest human service agency in the city of Boston. Mm-hmm. We provide programs for basically everyone, preschool programs, out-of-school time programs, recreational programs. We have a violence intervention program where our street worker program, which is nationally recognized for the work that they do, engaging disconnected youth. BNBL, many folks who live in Boston are very familiar with BNBL. Yeah. That's part of our recreation division. We have GED, education, family literacy, you name it, we're doing it. We're trying to really, just across the city, provide quality outcome-driven programming. We have 35 facilities, 29 pools, 29 buildings, 29 community centers, 17 pools, and I think one of the fun things about the pools, I think about we have a couple of outdoor pools, but one beach. Like, we have a beach. Yeah,
exactly.
Literally. So people like, you guys have a beach? Like, yeah, we have a beach.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I have to say, you guys do run a tremendous amount of programs. Again, we were talking before we went on air that my spouse's son did the sports program at the Tobin this summer. So he spent 3 weeks at the Tobin. He loved it. He actually wanted to do more, but we had him doing some other stuff as well. But there are so many opportunities for kids in the city to participate through BCYF, not just the sports camps, but as you mentioned, there were all these numerous programs.
Yes.
And it's just really a matter of connecting parents and kids with those programs, which I know that you guys do a tremendous amount of outreach for. But how are some of the ways that you do try to connect kids with BCYF?
So, one of the things is the old-fashioned way, really. It's word of mouth, it's networking. But you can always go online and find out information about Boston Centers for Youth and Families. Mm-hmm. We just recently put out our BCYF guide, so you can go online and get that guide at Boston Centers for Youth and Families /BCYF. We're tweeting.
We were just talking about social media in the last half hour.
Yes, at Boston Centers, at BCYF Centers. We're on Facebook, so you can like us on Facebook. Boston Centers for Youth and Families as well. So we're just trying to various ways of trying to make sure that families know that we exist. We're what we call like Boston's best kept secret, right? And we really don't want to be the best kept secret. We want people to know about the services that we provide. And so, come on out and join us.
Well, and I'm always surprised when I hear people say there's nothing to do for kids, and I sort of recoil, and I'm like, there's actually a lot of stuff for people to do who have kids. You just have to, open your eyes and your ears and tap into it. So hopefully this will help get that message out there that there are a lot of programs, there are year-round programs. But let's talk about the summer programs. How was the summer for you guys as a whole?
Man, I tell you, the summer was just fantastic, first of all. I tell you, I cannot thank my staff enough for the work that they were able to do this past summer. We were able to provide over 50 camps and programs for youth across the city. We made an intentional effort to really engage teens and girls this summer, and so we were able to. And 3 of our fun stops, which we have 10 fun stops where we do some drop-in programming for youth. And, you know, oftentimes youth who they're not working or they're going to summer school, et cetera, we want to be able to provide opportunities for them.
Right.
So we offered these super fun stops for teens. And these fun stops were throughout the city.
Yep.
We had just a great time. We had our girls program where we were really trying to be intentional again about increasing our visibility to girls. And man.
So was that something that was a problem before, that there weren't a lot of teen girls participating?
You know, it's a challenge for a lot of youth serving agencies, you know, where teens are always,
they want to hang out with their friends.
Right, they want to go to the mall and so on and so forth. And so, you know, we've, like most other youth serving agencies, we've had some challenges in the past, and we said, hey, well, let's be a little bit more intentional in terms of providing opportunities for them. And I also think in the summertime, we've sort of looked at the younger population a little bit more. And, you know, the mayor says it all the time, like, we're critical in terms of being the first line of defense for public safety. And
Absolutely.
so we want to make sure that we're developing young people holistically, whether they're 6 or 18. And so teens are really important for me. And in fact, they're so important for us that this winter and fall, you know, this fall and winter, we're looking to do a youth advisory committee. That'll be one of the first youth advisory committees that we've done at Boston Centers for Youth and Families. And it's important for us to have the voices of the teens because, you know, we're providing programming for them. They should have a voice. And not only are we looking to empower them, you know, I really believe that we have to do a better job of listening to them. So.
Well, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I do think that that is something that is needed. You know, I feel like sometimes people are talking at kids to figure out, or not figure out, but to tell them what they should be doing, but to actually sit down and listen to kids and hear what they want or what their concerns are, what their needs are, is really beneficial. So I think that that's going to be great. You guys also have the Street Worker program, which you mentioned, which nationally recognized. I think I read something recently in the paper that the street workers are going to be a little bit more, not that they're not utilized now, but they'll be a little more utilized in terms of, you know, violence in the streets. So can you talk a little bit about that?
So, you know, the street workers have, and, you know, I cut my teeth doing violence prevention, intervention work for a number of years. I oversaw the street worker program for a number of years. And so, you know, obviously that program is dear to me. And the street workers, as we think about some of the things that are taking place today in the city, unfortunately we had a horrific incident that took place over the weekend, and it's really not indicative of who we are in the city. And so our street workers are really going out and trying to engage the community and really be conveners in the community as we build the intentional relationships with those youth who might just be a little astray. They're not bad or the worst people in the world. They just need a little bit of guidance.
Well, and we should say too, I mean, you know, I feel like a lot of times kids, if they're, you know, they might mouth off or they might, you know, do something, a minor infraction, if you will, but they sort of get lumped into this group of, oh, they're bad kids and they can't be rescued or saved. And I think changing that attitude too of other teens, adults, you know, people who work with kids, just to make sure that, you know, if a kid's acting out in school, maybe take him or her aside and try to figure out what the issue is. You know, and it goes back to that listening to what the kids are saying as opposed to assuming that you know what's best.
Yep, and I think, you know, we're lucky. We have great leadership here in the city, and Mayor Walsh, and I think that you know, he's really took it upon his shoulder to really address this issue, and it's important to him.
Absolutely.
You know, he hired Danny Mulhern to oversee the Mayor's Violence Prevention Initiative out of City Hall, and really trying to work collaboratively. And I think for all of us, it's really us working collaboratively and maximizing the resources that are in this city.
Right, and I think that's definitely something that Mayor Walsh sees, is that it is a big puzzle and you have to connect all of the pieces together. I listened to him talk about Boston Public Schools and really putting the onus on parents as well to talk about how schools can improve if the parents are also invested in those schools.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, yes, we have schools that need fixing and there are issues around them, but if the parents are sort of like, I don't want to touch it, they're not going to get better. So
Sure.
same thing with dealing with youth and going
Absolutely.
to community centers. You need that involvement from everybody to
Everybody.
sort of
That's right.
weave it all together.
That's right, and I always tell my staff, particularly our street workers, that it's important to get into the household and talk to the parents.
Right.
And most of the time, we get into the household, and even when a young person's acting out, you get into the home, and they're not from bad homes; they're from good homes.
Right.
And so, we know that sometimes kids outside of the home get a little bit off track, and when we knock on that door, and mom is there, and they're like, "Oh my God, you told my mom."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so we certainly have to make sure that parents are involved, and we try to get parents involved in all of our programming. We just had end of the summer wrap up our Fun Fest, and I was so excited.
How was that?
It was awesome. It was great. It was great because we do a couple of programs in there. Pre-employment, one where we do a super teens program for 13 and 14-year-olds who, too old for summer camps, too young for work. 200 kids come out, but their parents were there at the end of the summer, and that was great.
Yeah.
We do a snapshots program for young people who are interested in photography. They were there for the end of the summer. They had their photography.
So tell me, let's talk a little bit more about that because
Sure.
that's really interesting. So
Yeah.
how does that work?
So we have, thanks to MLK and John Hancock for supporting us every year around this. We have MLK Scholars Program, and we're able to bring in 20 teenagers who are interested in photography. And so throughout the summer, they learn about photography. They get a camera, and they learn about photography, and they go throughout the city and learn photography, take pictures. They do our programs and activities. They're going out, they're taking pictures. They're,
Do they learn dark room and all that stuff?
all of that.
Oh, see, that's pretty cool.
All of that. And the best part of it is at the end of the summer, we have a gallery. In fact, they have some of their work. It's being shown at the State House right now.
Oh.
And it's in the gallery at the State House.
Really?
And yes.
So I'm going to have to go check that out
and
tomorrow.
these are the work of teenagers who participated in the BCYF Snapshots program. So just to say, we believe in parents being part of our programming, and we really want to make sure that as much as possible we keep parents involved and increase their visibility at BCYF.
Right, absolutely. And I think, having the snapshot program is really great because, again, it goes back to showing kids that you believe in them and that they can do whatever whatever their dream is, they can accomplish it as long as they work hard to get there.
Yes.
So, and that's something that BCYF tries to instill in kids.
Yep.
Whether it's a sports program, and of course not every kid's going to be a world famous athlete, but you never know, it could turn into you become a coach or you become a physical therapist or what have you. So again, it's just teaching them if you dream it. And
we all
you can achieve
know,
it.
right? Basketball, football, whatever it is that you like to do, right? It can be the conduit to education.
Right.
Right. And so it's we've had some professional athletes who grew up in our community centers, but that's not what we're striving for. What we're striving for is to have young people grow up in our community centers and become healthy adults.
Right.
We want them to go to college, and college isn't for everybody. So I don't want to say that, right?
No.
But that's the idea. That's the goal. Graduate from high school, graduate from college, and take our jobs.
It's to have a career. It's like again, like you said, you don't have to go to college. You could go to a vocational school.
Right.
You could do or. I know plenty of people who didn't go to college, didn't go to vocational school, but they're doing pretty well for themselves.
Very well. I do too.
And the other thing is, in today's day and age, 2014, there are all these different, obviously, programming. You can create an app, and next thing you know, you're, a millionaire. So why can't I do that?
We didn't do that.
We have time. We could do that. We just need to focus in on it. But I don't know programming.
I was going to say me either.
But that's something. I mean, do you guys do? Are there computer programming courses that you can do?
Yeah, so we have about 10 computer labs, actually 14 computer labs, I'm sorry, throughout our network. And so, we're always looking to, we're not in the analog age anymore, we're in the digital age. And, we're just coming from an event where Comcast was involved in, and, they're enhancing a couple of our one of our community centers. They're enhancing BCYF.
It's a Comcast Cares event?
Well, it wasn't.
Similar?
Essential, not essential program, but
Yeah.
they're gonna. I think with the resources that they're bringing to the community center, we're gonna upgrade our software and be able to provide hardware, and so there's another computer lab that we will be able to grow, and we're also looking to partner with B&N this fall and winter. Because you guys got a pretty good lab here.
We have a nice studio here. And kids can come in here and learn all the equipment, learn the cameras, learn in the studio.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really it's great.
And we've got Tech Goes Home and a variety of our community centers. So we certainly know the value of computer literacy, and we certainly trying to provide access to opportunities for families to come in and take advantage of them. And nowadays, if you don't know the computers, you're in trouble.
Right, absolutely, because everything's done on a computer.
Everything's done on a computer.
You have to know how to do that. You have to know how to do a resume. You have to know. This is the other thing that and I'm going off on a little tangent here, but teaching kids that. The difference between texting with your friend and actually writing out a full sentence.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, my spouse actually has his son, if he's texting, he's like, you need to write out a full sentence.
Good.
So that, his son learns it's not you are, it's see you late, or, whatever the 8 and all that stuff.
Yeah, see, we're not that bad. We know a little bit of something about digital.
Exactly. We're not that old. But no, those are the important things that, kids do. I mean, obviously it's easier if you're texting real quick to do that shorthand, but in the real world, that's not going to pass muster. So if you want a job and you want to be productive, that's not how it's going to be.
Yeah.
So
we've got a couple of community centers in our hot one, BCYF Mildred and Mattapan, where we've got this great technology center, and the Celtics put it together for us maybe 3 years ago. You walk in that place, and it is unbelievable.
Really?
Oh my God.
Tell me about it.
So, one, it's all Celtics. So if you're not a Celtics fan, don't go in there, right? But it's all Celtics. But then you go in, and they've got this high-tech software, right? That's, I don't even know it because I'm not a techie, right?
Right.
But the young people can go in there and, they can interface with people from all over the world. And they've got this big screen television there, and the great computers, and they have a computer lab too.
Right.
That's separate from this
Get out.
technology center. And they both get a lot of usage. The teens come in and they enjoy it, and not only the technology center itself and all the great equipment, but the Celtics made it nice and beautified it, so they've got the Xbox games and all that stuff.
So they can play video games.
Oh man, it's great. It's great. I love that place.
You should do, for each of the community centers, well, not each, but for a handful of community centers, do a Patriots one, a Red Sox one,
listen,
a Bruins one.
You hear that?
New England Revolution.
I hope they hear that.
Well, and we should talk about that, because I know that that's something that sometimes happens, that athletes will drop into community centers and sort of, say a few words to the kids or do some basketball or whatever it is. What are those days like for you? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of planning that goes into it, but then, the kids obviously get so excited to have these celebrities coming into their neighborhoods.
I'm like a kid on those days, to be honest, right? Because I'm a big fan. I'm a big sports fan, and I'm human, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm probably moving the kids out of the way. I want to be at the front of the line.
Out of the way, I need my picture.
We had today at the event over at the BCYF Perkins Community Center, we had Marcus Smart, who came, and the kids are really excited to have him there. And it's just great when the young people in our community centers are exposed to people that they often want to be and emulate. And so when we had Tom Brady at the Tobin one year, you believe that?
I know.
Yes.
Well, he's
yes.
awesome. So.
We had Tom Brady. We can tell people that. That's
and they're like, what?
Like Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But it's great for us to be able to have opportunities where we're able to have the young people meet people that they see on television.
And it's also great to have these athletes who really want to give back to the community.
Sure.
I mean, I know, and I'm totally going to date myself right now, but when Mo Vaughn played for the Red Sox, he was so into giving back.
He was one of the best at it.
Right.
Oh,
and he still does. I mean,
he's,
he's still very
created
active.
the Mo Vaughn Center.
Right.
He created that up there.
Absolutely.
Of course, he's in Connecticut now, and he's not here, but that's okay.
That's
He
right.
did
He's
a lot of good stuff here.
He's got his footprint here,
Yeah,
and
he sure does.
Helped out a lot. Did Shaquille ever do any stuff with BCYF?
So we never were fortunate to get Shaquille over, but we certainly had Kevin Garnett and we had
one
Paul
of my favorites,
Pierce.
KG.
Yep, Paul Pierce and Ray Allen.
I'm still smarting about him not being here anymore.
I know. The big three were always supportive of the work that we did at Boston Century Families, and each one of them were great. And just the organization itself. The Celtics organization is great. Red Sox organization is great. I mean, the Revolution, they really support us.
Well, especially, soccer is now, of course, like this big thing,
yes.
which is weird because for other people in other parts of the world, soccer or football has always been a big thing.
It's huge,
but here in America, it's just finally starting
it took off this year
it's starting
with the
to
World
gain.
Cup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's it's great to see New England Revolution get involved. I know they have before football became big here, soccer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's also, because obviously there are a lot of kids now who are like, I want to play soccer instead of I want to be a baseball player. So it's really good.
Yeah.
If we mentioned at the top of the show, at the top of this half, that I volunteered at the Tobin. So if there are people who wanted to volunteer, how do they go about that process? Can they pick? I think I was able to pick that I wanted the Tobin because I was going to Emerson and it was close proximity.
It's close in proximity, sure. Well, first they just need to reach out to us at Central because most of our volunteer opportunities we try to, coordinate.
Yep.
And Central is our administrative offices. Yep. But again, they can go online and reach out to us at Boston Centers. Boston Centers at /BCYF, cityboston.gov, or they can tweet if they want to tweet. They can call us at 617-635-4920. I know a lot of people sometimes want to pick up the phone.
That's right. They want to talk to a human person.
Yep. So they can always do that. But we have opportunities, and we try to. And if they don't want to reach out to us at our administrative offices, they can go directly to the sites, and the sites will certainly know how to coordinate and connect them to us.
Yeah, I really enjoyed volunteering at the Tobin when I had the chance. So I would highly recommend it to anybody who's looking to give back to the community. Tell me a little bit about the Hubnob event coming up.
Hubnob, November 10th. Hubnob is an annual fundraiser for Boston Centers for Youth and Families. And our BCYF Foundation puts it on for us, where we're raising funds to provide a great program that we just talked about. And so it's a fun night. And it's at the House of Blues.
I know. I might have to go to this.
It's a great venue, and we're going to make sure that you get invited.
Thank
you. You will get a ticket, and you make sure you hold me to that.
That's right.
But it's just a great night. It's a fun night, and it's for a worthy cause. It's really for a worthy cause. And did I say it was a fun night?
Yes, you did say it was a fun night, and you definitely said it was a worthy cause. And I think that's something to actually bring home to the folks at home, is that all of these programming opportunities cost money. And yes, there's grant money, and yes, there's some money that comes from the city, but it still costs a lot of money. So in order to provide kids with these outlets, which are great, we do need to help out.
Sure.
So.
And we're grateful. I mean, we're really grateful. We've got a lot of restaurants who come in, and they bring some great, delicious food. So, we always have a great band to perform.
You'll have to. I usually plug a ice cream spot called FOMU.
FOMU.
Okay. They have two spots, one in Alston and one in JP. Okay. But I don't think ice cream's really the thing for that night. But the owners have another restaurant called Root, which I'm just suggesting that maybe you contact them, and maybe they'll provide some food for the evening.
Okay.
Because
we'll do that.
That's my little plug for
and
my
we do
friends.
Like desserts. So
they could bring ice cream. They actually have baked goods too,
yes.
so it might work out.
We like desserts.
Right?
Yes.
I would even bring them for you.
Okay. Okay. We're going to hold you to that.
Absolutely.
We're going to hold you to that.
But no, I think that, the benefit sounds like a fun night. What sorts of things can people expect if they go?
So, silent auction, which is always fun. And as I told you, we'll have the restaurants up. There'll be some interactive, activities and fun things that they can do throughout the night. You'll be able to hear from a great band.
Who's the band?
We can't say who the band is yet.
Is it John Bon Jovi?
We've had some pretty good bands in the last couple of years.
Who did you have last year?
The world premiere band.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and they were pretty good. They did, it's a cover band, but they were really
But there's
good.
a lot of dancing.
A lot of dancing, and we bring in special guests or two all the time. We always have a special guest or two.
I'm totally gonna go.
No,
I'm
listen.
done. I'm sold. I'm gonna go there.
It's a fun night. It really is. It's a fun night, and we get to raise a few bucks for some quality programs.
Great. Well, Chris, I want to thank you so much for being here. It's awesome to talk about the programming that the BCYF does. It's very important to the folks in the city of Boston, especially obviously the youth.
Yeah.
And so I just want to thank you for all the work that you guys do and
Thank
what
you.
Mayor Walsh does and all the staff with BCYF. So
No, thank you. And this is a great opportunity for us to, be able to share some of the work that we're doing. And we're so grateful that you give us an opportunity to be here.
great. Absolutely. Have a good night. And I'm going to see you on November
10th
10th.
at the House of Blues.
That's right, at the House of Blues.
That's right.
That's going to do it for us here tonight. We will see you next time.